Indeed. Hopping into Game 3 of HerO vs. Life, series tied up at 1-1. Spawning in at the bottom left, we have the blue Protoss player from Team Liquid, HerO. I feel like it's so much less epic without like all the clapping in the background, but...
Yeah, dude, trust me, like, when I do WECS and I try to do, like, epic intros, and it's like, well, there's actually nobody here at the venue, so what's the point?
Spawning in at the top right as the red ZerG, Startail Life. And probably what I would say is probably the highest caliber series of the day, maybe, depending on what kind of A-game Kane brings.
Yeah,
or maybe even Guitar Cheese.
There's a chance that I think Kane's gonna bring out some really great play. I like Guitar Cheese, like not to undersell him or anything, but he's, you know, it's just he's the underdog. Like there's no denying it. As much as I would love to talk him up, like this is simply not a group that when you look at all the players in here that he should get out of. That's not to say I don't want to be surprised, because I think upsets are probably one of the coolest parts of some, especially recent StarCraft results. But these two players we're definitely looking at, like you said, I think the highest caliber match. And the two players that should probably get out of this group, so whoever loses is going to feel a little uncomfortable, probably because they'll have to play an extra series compared to the other player, but it shouldn't slow them down moving forward.
Ideally, yeah. And again, it's all going to depend on how those underdogs play. Life, this game, Life.
Match first.
And
HerO's going to Nexus first
okay,
again.
I got really confused for a second there. Nexus first by HerO. So, the way that this works, I'm trying to see if I remember all the timings right. I'm pretty sure the reason why you build the pylon in your main, he's going to throw a forge here or a gateway? He does do a gateway, okay. Sometimes I see like pylon forge there, so that if the ZerG like 10 pools, you can build a cannon back there, and you don't... But I'm not even sure if that applies to this map. I could be...
You know, though, I have to... You don't have a bad point, though, because some players, when they do fast pools, they exclusively do them on this map. I think about players like Scarlet. Hyun has actually done a lot of, like, fast pool type play. I actually think we even saw in the GSL, like, no spoilers, but there was a map, I think, in one of the last two series where the ZerG player did, in fact, go for a very fast Ling play. But it actually worked out pretty well. So it's certainly not a bad possibility, but... Gateway expands after Nexus just kind of become like a really popular thing, but of course Life can very easily take his fast third hatchery now since he doesn't really have to worry about any sort of pressure.
For sure. And this is kind of a, I would say this is kind of a scary situation for HerO now, because, I mean, when you get that really greedy early Nexus and then you go Gateway afterwards and you let Life kind of get that third hatch up, you're kind of saying like, all right, Life, like let's do it. We're gonna play out a macro game, you know, no funny business. Especially HerO taking both gases, so. I mean, HerO. I'm not trying to take anything from HerO, but if HerO doesn't go for some kind of 2-base timing, I'd be really surprised here to see him try to play this one out.
Yeah, you make a good point. So you look at how the first map and the second map played out. Like the first map, he went for that. He went for the timing, and it worked. But Life didn't really have much of an opportunity to get where he wanted to be in that game. And in the second game, both players were kind of allowed to do whatever they wanted for the first 10 minutes. You know, aside from that Oracle forcing out some spore crawlers, but HerO being allowed to pick his build and get a fast third Nexus, not being able to hold on to what Life was going to throw at him, does make me feel like he's either a little bit nervous or unsure of himself in this series, and that's never really a good sign, because HerO's a player that can get tilted pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess, well, I mean, it's not like there aren't any all-ins that Protoss can do taking these two gases first. I think typically you see the early gases go up when you're expecting to see macro play. Oh, nice!
These feelings. He actually killed a single probe. Might have been...
I think it was a scouting probe. It was a scouting probe.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it was killed by the queens. One of these queens, I think, has a kill on it. Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, it could have been worse. Maybe the Lings might have killed it on its way out. He did have that Zealot run in.
That 6-minute third Nexus. So HerO is going full macro game. There is
really
going to be no funny business.
So this forge that's going up for HerO in his natural expansion, when I see third bases followed by a forge, I'm thinking +1 attack. Lots of Protosses like to go for +2 blink timings, which with how long it'll take him to saturate, you know, not only is natural at this point, but also that third base. He can either not take his gas at his start and do like a crazy number of zealots with an attack, or he just builds up for like a later upgrade setup. And I always like +2 blink myself. I think it's probably one of the more interesting styles that Protosses go for, just because the blink micro kind of gives you something to do other than just force fielding.
Oh man, and this is so good from... Please! Oh, this lag.
Mildly frustrating.
Really good on life here to scout the third going up, because HerO's actually moving forward really aggressively with the Mothership Core and the Stalker and the Zealot. And and if you're playing in a ZVP, you might be thinking like, is there a pylon going up soon? Is he going to do some kind of really aggressive play? But life almost went down to scout the third. I think he's going down for it. He will.
Yeah. We'll be able to spot it. That's very important. I think at this stage of the game, there's not much he can do about it because of how late his Zergling speed is, though.
Yeah, true. But it's nice because he doesn't have to stress out like, oh god, he's all-inning me right now on 2 base, you know? Like, he knows he's got a little bit of time.
He can freely drone. Yeah, that's another really good point. It's like, yeah, maybe he can't do anything about it, but he can just freely drone up. He's not going to have to worry about an attack coming anytime soon. And now that the gas is being taken in the natural, HerO's going to be able to just about saturate his natural as he starts producing pros to the third. So as far as constantly producing workers go, this is about as economically efficient as HerO can really get in this game. So with the Twilight Council starting up, I still think +2 Blink is a very real possibility. Maybe even a robotics facility and throw in some Immortals. But life with Zergling upgrades going, if he can get a surround or catch an army that moves out of HerO out of position, upgraded Zergling like surrounds are actually really sick in the mid game for this matchup.
For sure. And I agree with what you said earlier. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see. We saw the +1 upgrade was being chrono boosted.
Yeah, there's another chrono just going into it right now.
And we do see the Twilight Council is going up in the main, and we also see 4, 5, 6 warp gates. Or there's like 5 being made just at the third.
Yeah. And I think with a Blink now on the way, it's not like this is a terribly surprising thing to see for life. He scouts the robotics, he scouts the Twilight Council, he sees the chrono boost on the Forge and the natural expansion. So I think life has an idea of what he's up against. But the question now, of course, is going to be whether or not he can hold off against it. Because the gateway count from here, as you mentioned, is starting to go up. But it's really not too crazy a number of gateways for 3-base setup. Like, only having like 7 gates feels like a lot, but when you're on 3 bases, you can afford a lot more than just 7 gateway production.
Maybe I thought, isn't it like 7 or 8 max if you're doing stalkers? I could be wrong.
No, it's usually 7 is usually 2 base though. Like now he's getting 4 more in his main. Now we're going up to 11 gates.
Okay,
this is where things get crazy. And a Dark Shrine, and a Robo. Get all the tech. This Phoenix is going to check out the main base. Burrow is being researched, which generally I like, but I feel like this gateway push, it's coming so late that it's hard to expect the Protoss not to have an observer. So Burrow shouldn't have a huge impact. Maybe for harass, he runs some Zerglings over towards the third, but the Photon Cannon and the Zealots are here to defend, and the Zergling upgrades are about to finish, so the Zealots shouldn't be able to kill them too fast, but I'm wondering when HerO wants to actually push, or if he's only getting this robotics facility for a warp prism or an observer. If he wants to wait for Immortals, it's going to slow his push down significantly.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see him wait for Immortals too. I mean, he chronoed out the Blink and he chronoed out the +2. Like, to see him wait for Immortals after all that seems kind of strange. I think that the observatory. I think the robotics facility is just going to be for the warp prism and maybe an observer. I don't think he's going to be waiting for Immortals there or even building them, but I guess we'll see.
Oh yeah, it's a warp prism. Yeah, warp prism to reinforce sounds good. But since he doesn't have an observer, yeah, since he's going for he's not getting an observer, it does open the door for some Burrow shenanigans. However, this really big push on the right side of the map for life is basically saying your army's not here. The Mothership Core is with the army, but these Zerglings are going to try to catch this force outside. And this third base for HerO is pretty much forfeit because the Zerglings are just distracting him. And HerO's going to blink forward. He's chasing this army, but with tons more Lings on the way, more Roaches, he's basically forcing HerO to commit almost all in. And he's going to lose 5 gateways of production once this pylon goes down at the third base.
Yeah, I don't know if HerO would have had like 1 or 2 more rounds of Stalkers warped in before this attack.
Oh, the defense of Dark Templar at the Nashville. Okay, this is actually really smart because he had absolutely nothing else to defend against this with.
Oh, lots of drones being pulled by light there. Oh, but not the greatest of force fields by HerO. A lot of those drones getting out. The defensive Dark Templar are good, but man, HerO lost so much production. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not even enough warp gates for what a fully saturated 2-base play should be like. Oh, we do have a Dark Templar running into Life's main.
This is where he's going to try to pull it back now because he does still have this forward army, but he doesn't have an observer. So some of these Roaches burrow. He can't really do anything about that. And now with Enduring Locusts finishing up and +1 attack for ranged units, he hasn't actually built any Swarm Hosts. I guess he's kind of realized now that he might not need to. But this is still a really tense moment because he has to retake his third base. His army's actually kind of like derping in his natural because he completely walled himself in. So
I think HerO. I mean, 4 base to 2 base, and no severe economic damage.
Just look at life supply in his bank. Like his army value is really high. The Dark Templar aren't going to do a lot for him. Even if he turns them into Archons, like they have such short range that roaches should be able to pick them off without too much trouble.
I don't know if he drops a couple Maelstroms, if he makes them into Dark Archon, maybe we've got some game-changing
Kappa.
Kappa. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In order for HerO to win this game, he would have to like simultaneously like harass and kill like 2 of life spaces while holding off an attack. Yeah, 7 infestors on the way. Oh god.
Your 7 infestors are going to do a really good job of locking down those either the DTs, the archives. That's just gonna looks like he's just gonna try to split the DTs between the bases, but there's some form of defense at all of them except for the 3rd of life, but that's still kind of like naturally defended by being between several of those bases. I almost would have liked to see HerO try to do something nuts like grab the gold base. Like this is still he's still not in a good position. Like it's like okay, yeah, maybe he's gonna get this 3rd base up, but the time that he's giving life on 4 bases, he's just gonna get everything. He's getting his hive. He could get a spire as well. Yeah, he's gonna start up a spire, and he's gonna have so many options available that whatever HerO is able to muster on this low econ, he's not gonna be able to switch to anything that can deal with the transition.
For sure. It looks like HerO is going to go ahead and hold off the attack at his 3rd. It's so hard as a Zerg to attack into that. And at the top left, we've got several DTs. I think 3 DTs and a Zealot making their way into Life's 4th. But
yeah, with the Queens and Spines and the Spores, it's not going to happen. Kills like the Spine and a Queen, and that's about it. But look at these Infestors coming in now.
That's the last thing.
This is a tight choke point, so it's good for the force fields. He's actually going to pinch off quite a few of these roaches. Actually, Infestor's just kind of like walking into this.
Yeah,
it's a little bit unsettling.
Not the greatest control, and by that I mean probably the worst control I've ever seen from Life. Wow. He did manage to chain a couple bundles together, but it wasn't enough to do any significant damage, and it also wasn't
like nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't in a position for the roaches to take advantage of it either. Attacking into that 3rd base is just so difficult. Oh, and with Blink, there's no way any of these Infestors are going to get out. Doesn't even try to burrow them, which is actually surprising because
there wasn't an observer there.
Yeah,
there's no observer with the army.
I wonder why he didn't even try to burrow to get away. Maybe he figured there must be an observer. I don't know.
The only observer is at the East Tower, so maybe he would have ran into that, I guess, at some point or another. But Life still has I think a reasonable things are going for him. HerO, by the way, has gotten some good trades out of this. I'm actually surprised with how well he's done so far. But this huge Ling Hydra transition, like it's just good versus Stalkers. He had the bank and he said, hey, whatever your army is actually capable of killing, I can just transition way faster than you. And that's what he used that economic lead for. GG Life. I think he basically gave HerO a false sense of security when he lost all the Infestors and lost all of those roaches. But then he said, well, now I've got units that actually wreck Stalker Immortals. So
yeah,
that was a good play by Life.
I mean, to be honest, I don't actually know because I don't watch Life play a lot of ZVPs, but I kind of wonder if after he killed HerO's 3rd, he probably figured like I'm so far ahead, like no matter what happens, I'm not gonna lose this game. Why not make 7 Infestors? Because he clearly like wasn't like try-harding with those Infestors. He wasn't like that was not the epitome of Life's control. He kind of just like suicided it all, and he's like whatever. And then after that, he kind of flipped out to Hydra Ling. I kind of think that Life was so far ahead that he almost could have did anything at that point in 1. And after wasting the Infestors, like you said, he just switched to Hydra Ling and he smashed whatever HerO currently had.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for HerO to drop the first series of the day. But as both players are still favorites, I still like HerO's chances moving forward, and it'll be interesting to see.
For sure. And if we do come down to any tiebreakers, HerO is at least he did get 1 win, so you know.
Yeah, every point counts. I do like that as well.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and take a really quick like 2 or 3 minute break, and then we're gonna hop into the next series, which is going to be Kane versus Guitar Cheese. We'll be back in a second, guys.